October. That's amended. Additional details have been received for the planning application as listed. Dated the 17th of August, the redevelopment of a car wash site to include cover to existing car wash and creation of 6 shop units and a cafeteria. So the notification letter is attached for information. Can we add comments at this stage, or are our previous comments standing?
Previous comments stand unless there was any change considered for that. The only thing I'd add, Chairman, is, as it says on the agenda, that information is dated the 17th of August, but it was only sent and received on the 10th of October.
Thank you. Does anyone feel we need to change our original comments on this application? Memory serves, we weren't in favour of it. Yeah, I think from what I've seen on there, I'd say the same. So the information there is for noting. If we're all happy there, we'll go on to the second part of this agenda item, being that's on the 20th of October, the Chatham District Council updated further to the Town Council Planning Committee consultation comments for the change of use for 25 Station Street, submitted on the 4th of July. The applicant has provided additional information to address the highway concerns, and Worcestershire County Council Highways have now withdrawn their objection and recommended approval with the conditions. The information is attached for further considered comment by the Town Council. Councillor Davidson.
I realise I need to abstain on the basis that I was living there till last year, and I know all the parties involved and accepted their hospitality.
Thank you for detailing that.
So, Chairman, the context on this one was we've been invited to put in an amended comment on the basis of that highways withdrawal of their objection, if the committee so wishes. Otherwise, it's as previously resolved.
Can you remind us of our previous comments?
It went out with the agenda.
Do any members in the room wish to change our comments or make any comments on this? If not, I'd say we're happy to continue. Councillor Fellows.
Yeah, just to say, George, this is behind the likes of Tommy
Liners.
Liner's shop, isn't it? That's the same place.
No, sorry, we've moved on.
Yeah, you're
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
it's all right.
that
I was still thinking of
I think
the
that was-
objections I had.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
60, the land rear of 67 High Street.
This is station really.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It's all right. I was still thinking of their views.
This is where the right one is.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Which one is it, David? It's not your old one, it's the one in the floor.
That's the one I sold, or we sold. But basically, when you read that, you'll see that they're adding a car park space.
Oh, you mentioned it to me, yeah.
I think our main concern, if memory serves before, was car parking. So I think if highways have,
It was to object in consideration of the highways objection for off-street parking.
so I think with this having been amended and resolved, I think I'd be happy to put forward that we recommend approval. Could I have a seconder? Thank you. Could I have all those in favour? Grand. Thank you very much. This brings us on to next on to item 5, decisions of the local planning authority. Part A, approval notices. The local planning authority has issued 7 approval notices since the last town council planning committee. Of these, 5 did accord with our recommendations and 2 did not. And on to part B, refusal notices. The district council has issued no refusal notices since the last town council planning committee from the 9th of October. This brings us next on to item 6, the Worcestershire County Council Bus Back Better National Bus Strategy. The County Council have notified organisations and stakeholders on the 23rd of October who have an interest in improving bus services and connectivity for the county. The links below are for the consultation questionnaire and to review the plans and schemes of the enhanced partnership. Feedback responses are requested by the 12th of November. It is usual for one corporate response to be collated and submitted for organisations and stakeholders. The QR code in the letter is recommended if there are difficulties accessing through the online links. So I know some members have responded already, and I'd highly recommend all to do the same. I don't believe we've received any motions for a collated response.
No.
So if we're all happy taking that for information and responding in our own areas using our own local knowledge, we'll move.
The end date, that's 12th for the survey.
To the 12th of November, so which had been circulated previously. So this brings us next on to item 7.
These are just for noting, Chairman. Most of them happened in October.
Yes, so items 7, 8 and 9 are all for noting, all being road traffic regulation acts, updating on various roadworks about the town. So unless anyone wanted to make comment on any specific of these, we shall take these as read. And I shall thank you all for attending and call this meeting to a close. Thank you. And I'll keep you posted. You said how much it's effective in delivery.
Just put the last thumbs up, thumbs up.
Maybe it's a quick one to use.
Ready to rock and roll. Just missed doing that. Take every opportunity. Good evening, everyone. I'm not Christine. So I'm standing in, as you heard, Christine's not too well earlier, she's given her apologies. So please bear with me as we go through community and amenities for the 6th of November. Hopefully you've all got the notes in front of you. We'll start with apologies for absence, please.
Yes, Chairman. Councillor Mrs. Chris Bowden, Eric Bowden, Adrian Key and Alex Sinton.
Excellent, thank you. Any declarations of interest? Nope. Okay. So 3, to confirm correct record of the minutes from the 1st of September. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Thank you. Councillor Brosier, seconder. Councillor Duffy, thank you.
And all in favour.
Yes, I forgot that bit. All in favour? Thank you. Good. So 4, you can see community grants. We cancelled the last meeting as we hadn't received any further grants on the 23rd of October. The next scheduled meeting is the 8th of January. You can see there's a small pot still available. So if anyone is listening on webcast, we urge community groups to come forward and seek an application for town grants, and yourselves please pass the message around for any worthwhile causes. If you ask the lead person to get in contact with town clerk, he can give the application forms. 5 is special annual grants. So this is a letter of appreciation we've received from DCBS, Druridge Council for Voluntary Service. It was in the notes, but as you no, we give a good grant to DCDS, and we thank them for all the work that they do, which is to go around the town. And I know it's one of the mayoral charities as well this year,
Yeah.
as it was last year. So.
Was it?
Popular charity.
Yes.
So that's well received. Thank you.
Worthy.
Definitely.
Moving on to item 6, Worcestershire Wildlife Trust. And I'll ask the town clerk if you could update us, because I sadly
Yes.
missed the meeting.
Thank you, Chairman. So this goes back to Thursday, 19th of October. It was yourself, Richard, that introduced us and suggested the Worcestershire Wildlife Trust funding opportunity. I did apply for this in August, and we are eligible to proceed. It's very similar to the PEEP funding stream that again was through county that we did the LED option for end of 2022 into 2023. So you have to confirm eligibility for that funding. You have to demonstrate what funding we've had over 5 years. That's all been done. So on the 19th of October, Katie and myself took Finley from the Wildlife Trust round the town council land holdings that are really suitable. So that would be Cockwood Park and Spring Meadow. And we also included 2 of the allotment sites, which was Cockcut, obviously because it's in the park as well as the open land, and Westwood. We are a bit restricted with the allotment sites because they are gated, so it has to be really classified as open to the public. They're not technically open to the public, only tenants. So that restricts us really to options which are detailed in the very comprehensive report that was received last Tuesday, that's gone out to everybody, to include 4 improvements at Cockcut for biodiversity and at Spring Meadow. Now, some of the initiatives are 20% funded, some are 40%. We need to consider at an early opportunity, possibly not this evening, what preferences the committee would like for the town council to take forward, and then whether that's 20% or 40% funded, there'll be an application attached to that which we can submit. We can do that at the January C&A, but really the scope of it we need to look at with the budget setting in December, because at the moment the budgets cover the maintenance and the upkeep of those areas within land holdings. That's all on track to outturn within the budget at the end of the year. But any capital expenditure needs to be built in, and then we hopefully can get 40 or 20% funded towards that. So there's some really good ideas on biodiversity, quite ranging from wildflower meadows to bug hotels. There's some examples of it in the Lido Park that we're checking are done down by tennis courts. So some of those certainly would be suitable, and consideration towards trees, buying some new trees, because some of the ones we previously planted have not all taken. So that would be an option. The wildflower meadow would sit well at Spring Meadow on the top area, on the meadow itself. And I think, Chairman, you mentioned wayfinding and improvements to some of the footpaths as well that we could consider. So there's quite a bit on there. You could consider a delegation to do that, or we could bring it back in January, but we need to really move it forward in tandem with the precept and the budget setting.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. I must declare an interest because Natural Networks comes under my cabinet position at county. So I should declare an interest because I get sight of applicants as well.
Chair, I think I should declare an interest as well, because I've been a member of the trust for about 50 years. Having said that, I'd be quite happy to be involved on any committee, subcommittee that's involved.
Yeah, I do. Since I've taken on the cabinet position for environment, I am a big fan of Natural Networks. I've seen the work that's been achieved in partnership with the Wildlife Trust, Woodland Trust, River Severn Partnership, and there are some superb examples of biodiversity and natural habitats that have been achieved. It presents a real opportunity. It was European funded, EDRF, and now it's UK Shared Prosperity Fund, so it comes through government to the districts and on to county. So the funding's retained in that way, but it becomes quite competitive in a sense. So if you are minded to support it, to support where we can really demonstrate some improvements to biodiversity in Droitwich, then we do need to get a bid in because there is the opportunity there. Councillor Humphreys.
Thank you. Just also to note, making sure that there is good access for all residents for this work. So I'd be happy to be part of, if you do put together a delegation to have a look at that and to comment on access issues.
I think that's a really important factor, so thank you. Any other comments around the table? Is this something that we would like to progress, or is it something that we're not minded to support?
Yeah, absolutely.
Got CNA in January and February, so if you could draw delegation for a working group, that work could be done around that time. The other thing to consider is, like with the PEEP, once funds allocated, it's allocated. Correct. And we got a default reduced rate for the PEEP. We were expecting 40% and we got 26% because the fund was expended.
In the papers that Town Clerk sent out, there's some really good detail in here, but there's a lot of areas, and it would be good to have a subgroup to kind of work through this. We do have a list of potential contractors that we could get quotes from as well to price up what we need, because whilst the recommendations are here of what can be done, it's our task to bring in some quotes and then to build into the budgets, the other 60% or the other 80%. If I talk about Copcat Park, then some of the pathways do need doing. There's only 20% contribution to pathways, but a lot of the kind of bug hotels, the planting, that would be 40%. In terms of the support for the funding. So do we have interested people to support a delegated group at all? Can I have hands up at all? 4, 5. Yeah. Did we get the names?
Yeah, got that. So everybody's in favour of that. I can confirm that in the minutes and then arrange a subcommittee or a working group meeting in the intervening period and try and get this down into specifics.
Brilliant. So can I have a proposal and a seconder to form that delegated group and to work up some proposals for January?
Yeah.
Right. All in favour?
Fine.
Excellent. Thank you. Another good area is 7, the introduction of the Mayoral Awards. I think this is a potentially really good for the council. I know it happens in some other councils, so I think it's really good that we're moving in this direction. So we did agree it 25th of September, so it's moving this forward, I think.
Councillor Duffy had got a proposal, or a suggested proposal this evening, and that was to do with the youth aspect.
Councillor Duffy?
Yeah, so it's felt it'd be quite good to focus on the youth aspect of introducing mayoral awards, and start with just that aspect before looking at other types of awards. With the wide range of schools that we have sort of in the town and supporting our young people of the town, it was difficult to get very specific with the exact details of a voting and nominating protocol. So I think you've got my exact words in front of you. Let's try to find my notes. So
typeface was a bit small for my eyes, so that works.
So my proposal for tonight is that the council delegates to the mayor to liaise with the schools of the town to form a working party of their representatives and any interested town councillors to determine a nomination and voting protocol for the students of the schools to vote themselves to award the Droitwich Young People's Award to a person or persons under 18 years old to be presented at the annual meeting of the town council in May. So,
could I recommend a slight change to that?
Of course.
Because we're hoping to get the youth council set up again by the end of or initiated by the end of the month. it would be really good for the youth council to support the mayor with the programme. The youth council does involve the middle schools as well, so yeah,
So
it's the
the
high
youth-
school and middle schools.
The youth council was what I had in mind.
Yeah.
I wanted to keep it a bit less prescriptive to ensure that if the youth council doesn't fully reform, or if they decide not to reform in a future year, that there's still that opportunity to liaise with the schools.
Yeah.
But I fully agree that the youth council seems the best way to effectively liaise with schools and students.
Yeah, well, if we were minded to set it up that way, then you've got the contacts in the middle schools as well as the high school. So if the youth council's not sitting, you've still got the contacts.
That seems quite well. If we add in the words to liaise with the schools and youth council of the town. Excellent. Thank you.
So are you moving that?
So I'd like to propose that.
Do we have a
Anyone prepared
seconder?
to question or second?
2 seconders. Shared. All in favour?
Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent. I do have another date for a meeting, 27th of November, but I need to confirm to you.
Good job.
With John, yeah, he's will have everything in place by then. 8, community legacy grant. So we've got 3 items to this, and the third one we're looking forward to. So, do you want to just
Yeah,
guide
I'll
us?
take the first 2, Chairman. So the first one is just a reminder and introduction, because a lot of this information went out in the summer in August, but the next tranche for community legacy from Witchhaven has been announced. The application stage 1, so that's the expression of interest, opens on the 8th of January, and it's quite a tight timeline for those. So it's the 8th of January to the 19th of February. And with that in mind, the item will be on the agenda for full council on the 18th of December. And that's for the town council as a whole to resolve up to 2 projects for us to proceed on expressions of interest stage. Hopefully, if we are successful, we've then got till the 30th of May to do the full applications, and that involves the public consultation to support and evidence that. So we've had success with this in the past with the cabin, with King George's Pavilion, with the app. So we have been successful in the past. There is a waiting to encourage parishes that have not applied before, really for them to be successful, but it is competitive bidding as well. It depends on the number of applications submitted. So it's a really good opportunity, and hopefully on the 18th of January we can resolve to progress with 2 straight away in the new year with strong applications. The second part B, I had invited Patrick from Witchhaven District Council, the officer for the Communities Officer North role. He can't make it this evening, but I will get an update from him with some other suggested projects. Those may be collaborative, working with other parishes, but I don't know exactly what he's got in mind. I'm conscious on the 18th of December we will have very limited time, so it's important to get the detail before that, if we can do that. And that leads nicely into part C, which is the detail this evening, and this is a project that Catherine and Becky put together, our heritage managers, to improve and enhance the museum and the tourist information offering going forward.
Which we are looking forward to.
So I'm going to come and stand up.
Yeah.
Next to. Okay, can you click for me?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Not. Okay, so hello, and to those of you that don't know me, I'm Rebecca Butler, and I'm one half the heritage management team, and this is the lovely Catherine Finn, who's the other half. And along with around 25 volunteers, we run the Heritage Centre on day. So, our mission statement as a museum is Droitwich Heritage Centre exists to stimulate the interest of visitors and local inhabitants in the surrounding area through curated displays and preservation and provision of information on local history from Stone Age to the present day. So how do we do that? So we are a museum, a tourist information centre, a gift shop and a community hall. Thank you. So we're a fully accredited museum. So we house a permanent salt museum, which explains the development from Droitwich Spa from prehistoric times to the present day. We also house the Droitwich Calling exhibition, which is an interesting display of radio equipment from the Wychbold transmitting station, and it celebrates Droitwich on the dial. We also have a space where we have a selection of temporary exhibitions. So this year we've had a nostalgic toy exhibition, very well received historic costume in miniature. For those of you who didn't get to see it, hopefully we'll try and get it back. It was Barbie dolls in historic costume, which fell in lovely into the Barbie movie being released as well, so it's fabulous. And at the moment we've also got our John Hemming display as well, all of which are very well received, and it encourages people to come back into the centre so they don't just sort of walk past and think, I've seen that, they're sort of coming in regularly. We also house a large collection of artefacts in our archive, and they're cared for with Spectrum. Tourist information and gift shop. We provide a wide range of information for local people, including local attractions, bus timetables, and we've also got a wealth of local knowledge from our wonderful volunteer team. We've got a good selection of holiday brochures for areas across the country, a wide range of coach holidays and day trips, and we act as a booking agent as well for several of these vendors, which helps a lot of people who aren't online or don't even want to pick up the phone. They can come in and talk to us face to face. We've got a small gift shop as well, where we sell a range of affordable gifts, souvenirs and books, and we aim to support local suppliers where possible. We're currently got a brand for Art Creations, which is our mono brand, which was launched this last week, and we've practically sold out of our hats. They're very, very popular with the people of Droitwich.
There's one there.
And there's
Which I'm
Kevin
going to
Davison,
steal.
Wait till the end.
There's always one.
Sorry, it's all right. We also conduct a number of outreach projects. So we lead a monthly guided town walk in collaboration with the Norbury Theatre, and that's on the second Saturday of the month. And this is well received and well attended. We regularly facilitate workshops for our local schools groups, which is Catherine's wonderful expertise. The number and scope of our school visits has increased over the last couple of years. We facilitate group visits to the centre, so we've done talks on the brine baths, we've done behind the scenes tours, so if anybody's interested in visiting the town, we'd like to facilitate those group visits. We also ensure that we provide low-cost activities in school holidays for children. This could be a quiz, crafts or trails. Halloween, we've been decorating pumpkins in schools and all sorts of things. We try to come up with new ideas, again, to encourage repeat visits by families, and this is something that we would hope to improve upon should we get funding for improvements. We raise money for charities, so most recently we hosted a coffee morning for Macmillan with all our lovely volunteers who got together, and we are the host shop for Cards for Good Causes. Our local visitors enjoy coming to purchase their Christmas cards from us, and we've had really good feedback from that. So sort of in the next couple of weeks, we'll be Christmas out in the Heritage Centre, raising money for a number of charities. Since COVID, we've also had our memory suitcase. This is again the lovely brainchild of Catherine, and it is aimed at older residents who may be suffering from memory loss or dementia. And it contains a lot of artefacts from objects from the past, which aim to spark and evoke memories. It has visited the majority of the care homes and is very popular. And various care homes have also asked to have it back. I know one in particular had a group of their school children group visiting, and they used it to sort of bridge the gap between generations, which was really, really lovely. So who are our visitors? So we average around 1,000 visitors a month, but obviously summer is busier than the winter period. I've missed out the COVID years because obviously it took a bit of a dip when we closed. But you can see the 2023 visitor figures now, we're sort of back on track to where we were pre-COVID, which is great. Again, education visits has increased, and that's because of all the work that Catherine's put in. So now we get pretty much most
all
of
the schools within walking distance, first schools, we're still
Yeah.
working on trying to get middle schools more involved.
Yeah, but we've been to different lots of Roman workshops and local history workshops to a lot of the local schools, which is great. And again, that's a free service that we provide. We just ask for a voluntary donation from schools. So what is our current setup? I'm just going to talk you through, I'm sure that most of you have been around the museum. I'm just going to show you a few little images and just talk you through what our current setup is. So the Salt Museum is looking dated, congested, space constraints mean that the timeline doesn't flow correctly in your way. And quite frankly, it just looks a bit tired now. The radio room, this is very much an afterthought because it came into the centre after we set up. So it's sort of hidden down an uninviting corridor, and we've got the door that blocks it off, so people, we have to physically send people down there. We have to flag them down.
Go through the glass door down the corridor because you'll find.
Yeah, so we have to flag them down to get them together while they sit. And obviously George on the dial is a really big history that should be shouting about. The
Because
social
when they
history.
get there, they get really interested.
Yeah.
Come back and say, oh, that was really interesting.
So we need to try and include that more into our visitor route, so we're sort of proposing to do that. So what's our vision? Our vision is for visitors of all generations and cultures to connect with the history of Droitwich in an enjoyable, engaging way, create a welcoming, multi-sensory experience, improve the visitor route to ensure that the museum makes sense, and create a permanent temporary exhibition space. That makes sense. So it's a permanent space where we can put temporary exhibitions in. Okay, so we've had brief dealings with a company called X Plus Exhibition Design. We had a preliminary meeting with them, and this is sort of the word vomit from one of Catherine's head. So obviously this is just a sort of basic idea and plan. If we were to move forward, obviously we'd have a working party, we work together to decide what it is we actually want to do. But if you want to just talk you through this very briefly, this is the main doors into the Heritage Centre, so obviously this is where we're seated now, and that's the Salt Museum. So outside, we'd like to have a bronze model. This would be of the Brian Baths complex, because a lot of people come in and go, where's the Brian Baths? And we're like, oh, you're here. You're in the reception area, but they don't understand the vast quantity that we had behind us. So if we had that in a visual representation that people could touch and interact with, it would really draw people in. They would know where they were. Also, being outside the centre, if we're closed, it's not during our opening times, there's still something for people to see. We could also have information on either side of there as well to try and push people out into the town. So it's about sort of welcoming them to Droitwich and then sending them out into the town to explore. So it's sort of the starting point of our town trail. So if we had our town trail leaflets, we've currently got them outside, we can actually have them on there, and it could be the starting point of that town trail. And again, used for schools and all sorts of things. We wouldn't change the doorways, but we'd paint them so they disappear a little bit into the building, because as many of you don't recognise they're not in keeping with St Richard's House. But if we paint, they do serve quite a good purpose for us, because they act as a barrier in weather, and being glass, we can see people coming in and out. So if we painted them grey, they would disappear. And then as you walk in, at the moment it's just a bit of a dull, dark tunnel, but we could create, if you imagine images being on it, so it would create sort of like an immersive experience as you're walking through. What you'd have, I'm not quite sure yet, but it would create that sort of tunnel. In the actual visitor centre, the main part of the building, I'd like to turn it back into sort of the 1930s, 1940s, so it was if you were walking back into the main reception area of the Brian's Bar.
So the entrance, like a tunnel, was you walk back in time as you come through that tunnel into the 1930s.
And also, by doing that, it would make it timeless. So like in 10 years, it wouldn't be like, oh, that's very much of that time. It would sort of time capsule it in the 1930s, 1940s. And it would tell that story. So as soon as people come in, they go, oh, this is where I am. It would also save space in the main museum, because you'd be telling that story within this space. Here we'd update the gift shop. So our stands, I think they came from a charity shop that were getting rid of them years ago, but we'd have a lovely bespoke point of sale furniture made, again in keeping with the building. We would move the choice information, so rather than having it all down the corridor, we'd put it into the main reception area, so that we'd welcome people to sit and peruse brochures rather than them all just taking up a lot of space. And it would kind of work like an Argus holiday brochure, so they'd look through this catalogue and they'd come to the desk, and then our volunteers would go and get them, which would save floor space. Number 4, that's where the permanent temporary exhibition space would be. And then we'd like to take down this wall here and open up the back of the museum. So you'd go into the radio room. So you'd have sort of like a linear timeline that you go around. Number 11 would be quite an interactive, because we're all about Brian, so we'd like people to interact with the Brian in some way. I'm not quite sure how, but have some sort of like interactive Brian experience. But that could also be moved, shifted to there. So if you wanted temporary exhibitions, it would make more use of the space. The radio room would still remain, but we'd cut down on a lot of the equipment that doesn't really make sense and just really focus on Droitwich on the dial and the desks really singing and being that main part. And by having that wall, not only does it create exhibition space, but it also creates a sound barrier. So obviously we want the radio room to be talking and doing lots of things. So it would create that natural sound barrier, so it wouldn't be bothering people who are learning about the Romans or John Paul, or whoever that might be. And then this little bit here, we'd like to put some sort of like children's activities, so it'd be like a welcoming family space. So when we're doing our children's activities, they could sort of be down that corridor. We could have, I don't know, dress up, cutlery and our brass rubbing. And the timeline again wouldn't be just printed boards for people to read, text people to read, but you'd have lift the flaps and like spin the box. So it would make it really interactive and engaging, not only for families, but even as an adult, if there's a button or something to tell you just do it, you're just drawn to it, you've got to do it. So it would make it interactive and engaging for a number of people. That's my whistle stop tour of them. So how does this fit in with community legacy? It's innovative, it's ambitious, removing dated displays and retelling the story of Droitwich using new methods. Create interactive displays so visitors can interact with the bride in new exciting ways. And it's retelling the history of Droitwich Bar, so we're deciding what we're going to tell. Community legacy lasting impact, we're creating a permanent temporary exhibition gallery, which can be used by community groups alongside a programme of temporary museum exhibits. It will be a long-lasting project. This museum was actually created in 1990, so we would hope that obviously due a refresh, and we would hope that it would last sort of a similar time period. And it will aim to improve community pride. Feeling proud of where you come from makes you feel good about your own life. So how does this fit in with Whitchaven's strategic goals? Health and wellbeing. The Museum Association says, museums can increase our sense of well-being, help people feel proud of where we've come from, inspire, challenge and stimulate us. Supporting people most in need. We aim to be a fully accessible service, which aims to help people access information, social inclusion and tackle digital exclusion. Tackling climate change will reduce the number of printed media that we distribute, assist people with accessing that information digitally, but still be a service where if people can't access digitally, they can come and talk to us and we can help them. Accessing local transport, we get 10, 15 people a day coming and asking for bus timetables. We are helping the people of Droitwich manoeuvre.
One full timetable today, so we have to print up a whole new lot of timetables today and the new bus as
We are
well.
helping them get around the town and getting around Whitchaven and spending money as well, but also staying in the area.
Yeah.
So how much is this going to cost? We're aiming to apply for 150,000. I've had brief chats with Marcus, who does this, he's an exhibition designer who does this for a living. He's done me, we'll also play these slides after the plan so you can have a better vision of this breakdown. But he basically says that you could do it for about 120,000. That's just the exhibition, not the actual building. So obviously we've got 30 grand spare then. To actually take down walls and move walls and build walls and do that sort of building work that we want to do. And that's it. So if anyone's got any questions?
Well done, thank you.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I've got a quick question, please. That was very interesting. The radio part ties in with the 1930s as well. I've just wondered, well, apart from the fact that I want to promote your beanie hats to 80% of the world's population, I want to know, or I would be interested to know, what we tend to get rid of from the radio.
We would be telling the story of the Droitwich transmitting station most prominently. So it would be Droitwich on the dial and the equipment that we've got from the transmitting station. We have got things that relate to the recording studios in Birmingham so they don't directly correlate to obviously the story that we're trying to tell. But we have got contacts with ex-BBC engineers, and there's a, is it Watch It, there's a radio exhibition down in Watch It, and the guy who we have been working with, he's got contacts with Broadcasting House. So we wouldn't sort of be skipping this, we'd be finding homes for it if we did decide that we would streamline the collection.
Okay, Councillor Duffy.
I think that was an excellent presentation. I really like that you seem to have sort of thought of the entire user experience, sort of making use of almost every opportunity there. I hadn't even thought of opportunities with the sort of arched doorway. I really like the idea of having sort of a timeless centre that takes people back as they come through that doorway.
We thought perhaps we could try and get some scent as well, so as they walk in, they like smell the brine and the salt and almost the Vaseline things.
Yeah,
And have some of
that's true.
the things from, like a lot of people talk about the bathrobes, so we could have those hanging in as well. So the things that people really associate, picked up a Vaseline maybe somewhere.
I think it's excellent, really creating that experience that sort of, I mean, one of the things that my memory is terrible. One of the things I really remember as a child was visiting the museum, and I think creating an experience that lasts in our young people really does tie them to the town. So I was really impressed to see a lot of focus around interactive exhibitions as well. I was going to push a bit for sort of screens and other technology that create sort of a living experience, but I'm really impressed that you've got a lot of that in a more physical sense, which can be a lot more
I don't
engaging.
know if I mentioned on there actually, where we're going to take down that wall, there would be a big screen, and we could have videos playing then. We're in contact with BBC ex-engineers, and they're doing a video at the moment for the transmitting station. So we could have that playing, or obviously we could commission new videos to play. So that is something that we have thought about. But I'm trying to keep it as low tech as possible. My thoughts on that is that obviously technology is the way everyone lives their life these days, and everyone looks at things through little squares. But you cannot replace experience and things and objects. So whereas our choice information centre and the leaflets and things that we're handing out might be sort of dying trade, we're never going to replace looking face to face with things in the past. So that's why we need to invest in our museum.
Visually and sensory.
Yeah.
And I think
Like there's a few people over the half term came with their parents because they'd come on the school trip the week before from Westlands, and they wanted to bring mum to show her things that they'd seen when they came, and that's what we want to really promote.
Yeah, that's amazing.
that's great. And I think Becky mentioned it as well, the immersive experience, because that really does capture, doesn't it, nowadays?
Yeah,
And
I respect this has already been thought about, but there is a link between Salt and the transmitting station because of the fact that it was built there purely because there's salt under the ground, which provides a fantastic area. So it connects with the salt soil.
very good. Did I see another hand? Councillor Humphries?
Thank you. Just really to offer some help on the issues around access. I'll be happy to help as much as I can with that. So please give me a shout if you need me.
That'd be great. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Councillor Brooks?
Well, thank you for that presentation. I'm really inspired by what I've seen, so that's really good. Just one question. As I understand it, we are an accredited museum, and obviously, I just wondered how that would be affected by obviously quite major changes, whether we have to be re-accredited.
Well, our
somewhere.
accreditation is due in January this year anyway, so we'll be re-accredited in January hopefully, and that is for 5 years. So it doesn't matter if we do changes. The main thing about accreditation is looking at how you care for your collection. So changing the general exhibits doesn't have that much of an impact on the accreditation. The accreditation is more that we're caring for our collection the correct way and not just leaving it to rot in the storeroom, basically.
Yeah, because that was my understanding of the way that it gives us the ability to hopefully borrow from some other collection, something interesting or relevant to a particular event.
Yeah.
Because we've got that, as you say, we're
And it also-
accredited carer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can curate what you need, but it's how you look after it.
Yeah.
So you want to curate
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Any other questions at all? Okay, so we're not making a decision tonight. This is for information, and as Town Clerk said, we will select 2 to move forward at the January meeting, the December meeting.
December
meeting. Yeah.
And I'll share the full presentation from Becky and Catherine to all members tomorrow, including the people that aren't here this evening.
Just some feedback on the memory items. Yeah, I went to Moonstone's afternoon
Oh, right, yes, yes.
event.
Yes, Louise had it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they had a number of care homes come in, nursing
Yeah.
homes, and the memory items went down superbly well.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
really
old
developed good
records,
relationships
books.
with the care homes. Through that, they now tend to
Yeah.
bring their residents in on in the minibus or something, and then if we went to temporary exhibitions, they'll come and look at as
There were
well.
a
So
number of people who suffered with
that.
dementia, and it just reawoken.
Yeah, because there's something physical there. They can then talk about and remember it. Oh, I remember when I had one of these
Yeah.
glass milk bottles when I was 8. And, yeah.
It created a great discussion, so it's a terrific stuff. Yeah.
And like there's a doll that's in the Droitwich High School original costume, what the school uniform was. So it's very authentic to Droitwich as well.
Very good, very good.
One
President,
final thought, actually, in keeping with keeping to not too many screens in the actual museum itself. So I really liked the idea of the brass
Yeah.
the brass model out front
And
and
all
having
those
some
people
more
walk
information.
past and say, oh, I've never been in there. It gives them something to actually touch and, oh, okay, I'll do this now.
Exactly, especially drawing attention to the information that you said could go either side. That could be a good opportunity to have screens for things like the bus timetables, gives it that future proofing in case they update, or for, like you say, historic tours of the town. It gives you the opportunity to add more in case there's new bits added.
Yeah.
very good. Any other points, Councillor Brooks?
Just a thought, but I wonder whether we could also liaise with the county council to see about some tourist information signs saying where it is.
That would be good.
Make it really
Yes,
on the map.
yes.
Definitely.
Okay, no more points. So a big thank you to you both. That was really good. So thank
Yeah,
you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Yes.
And moving on to another initiative that the Town Council has been involved in supporting, item 9, which is the John Hemming 400th anniversary of the first folio. So you can see in A there that the high school performance, the performance at the high school, Melting Pot Theatre Company, is on the 21st of November. I know some of us are going. So that's for your information. And tickets, I think, are still available if others do want to go. We've got the plaque unveiling ceremony at St Peter's Church on the 25th of November at St Peter's Church, and then see the Christmas lights switch on, which has a recognition of John Hemming's 400th anniversary as well. And we have the actor, Mr Ross Armstrong, along with our mayor, performing the light switch on, I think. Yeah. So, excellent. 10, Armistice Day, or any comments on John Hemming at all?
I
Councillor
noticed
Davidson.
so there's a cordial invitation here from Mark. Do we need to respond to it?
Please, if possible. The reason I've done the invitations is we've got limited space at St Peter's, small layout in there, and there's quite a few groups like civic, history, various people from the church that have been involved with the whole project. So we're asking them to send 2 representatives, and then of course all councillors are invited. I will send those out again, but I included them with the agenda.
Yeah, so if you want to go along to St Peter's Church for the unveiling of the plaque, do respond to the invite. But the tickets for the high school, I think you need to apply in your own right to buy those tickets. Yeah. 10, Armistice Day and Remembrance Days arrangements. The information's there. So on Saturday, the Royal British Legion will be having their usual 11 o'clock on the 11th. Ceremony by the War Memorial. They're starting at 10:40, as you can see. And then Remembrance Sunday for new councillors. Remembrance Sunday is, well, both of them are really important to the Town Council, but the Sunday especially. If you've not been to Victoria Square on a Remembrance Sunday, this will open your eyes and really appreciate the community of Droitwich, as well as pay respects to those that have sacrificed in the past or been affected by it. And the details there, you need to acknowledge the note from the town clerk and assemble here at 10:15 for us to parade ready for the march past and then the ceremony in Victoria Square. There's three elements, remember. So there's the Victoria Square, but then there's the church service, and then after at the Workingmen's Club. So three separate activities. You can do none of them, obviously, but it would be great if you can at least do Victoria Square, but you're welcome to do the church and the Workingmen's Club as well. All right, so please acknowledge that invite. 11, sorry, any questions on Armistead at all? No. 11, Christmas light switch on. So that is on the 25th of November. You can see Wychavon's concession for free car parking will run from 12 o'clock on the 25th. And then we have a number of things going on in addition to the light switch on itself, which the British Business Association are looking to have stalls down Salt Barrow Market. The idea there is that they're trying to take from the light switch on right down to the high street as well to support footfall across the town to help traders. And then there's the St Andrew's Church service at 4:30 as well by the community choir. What's that one? Sorry, that's the light switch
That's the
on.
entertainment programme for that afternoon.
Okay,
And the switch on's at 6. It follows that programme.
yeah, switch on at 6. So you have the poster as well in the notes, so it should be fine. So the light switch on itself is in just outside here, isn't it? So you can see the setup there: community choir 4:30, Salvation Army 4:15, community choir 4:30, Entwine dance 5 o'clock, Dance Works separate studio 5:15, and then Tarantara, I've not heard of them, choir at 5:30, and then there's light switch on at 6.
I think it's Tarantara.
Tarantara or Tarantara?
I think it's, looking at it, I think you're supposed to pronounce it sort of like as if you're in it.
Tarantara. Tarantara. We'll start singing them now. They sound good. Any comments on the light switch on at all? Or activities? No. 12, D-Day 80. So we know that there's the 80th anniversary is the 6th of June 2024. And so I'll pass this to the town clerk because you're doing arrangements, I think.
Thank you, Chairman. So really, it's just a recap. We have registered for an official pageantry office event, which is very similar to the late Queen's Jubilee in June when we had the beacon. So it is a beacon trail, very similar to that, and we can build the event through various suggestions. The pack went out, I think in September, to everybody, and I've marked it really for us to consider the detail in January and February at CNA.
Brilliant. Yeah, that'd be good.
I was just thinking maybe it might tie in that you could have a temporary display in the Heritage Centre, possibly do that. Just a thought.
If we've got the items, that would be a good idea. Yeah. Any comments on D-Day 80? No. 13, so this was a scrap fly tipping event on the 25th of October. Unfortunately, I was unable to attend it.
Councillor Rick Della, wasn't it?
It was Councillor Rick Della that organised it. You went, George, didn't you?
I went to sport, yeah.
Did you pass any comment on it?
Yeah, I'd say it was very well presented by Wychavon's environmental health team with a lot of focus around the need to report it and sort of making sure that we're reporting as soon as possible so that they can sort of determine where is being most hit by fly tipping. They demonstrated some great new and improved camera systems they've got that can really help, especially in the rural patches or where there may not be access to electricity. I think most places in the town would be able to access electricity if we felt that there needed to be cameras to catch environmental crimes. But I think this is very, very good for our rural areas and obviously the gateways into Droitwich. I'm trying to remember if there was anything else very specific that was raised.
I was in my other position. I was talking to the NFU on Friday, and they were saying what a big issue fly tipping is on their land. Yeah, and so they would be totally supportive of trying to find some answers.
Yeah, and a big part of the message was that obviously if you're having any work done where you have a contractor who's disposing of the waste for you, it's better and more reassuring if they're having a skip on site for whatever work they're doing, but make sure to check their waste handler's license if they're not disposing of it on site. That's the bigger part of, or the biggest issue they get with rural fly tipping is with these sort of entire vehicles worth of waste that's dumped, and unfortunately the need for responsibility means that if they can't track down who's dumped it, then the next person liable is the person who originated the waste.
And I think there's a good message coming from that, which George said at the start, and as councillors we should all encourage residents, make sure we're aware of it first, but then encourage residents to report it if they have online facilities, obviously, because Worcestershire County Council reported, Whichehaven District Council reported. You can do fly tipping, you can do drainage, you can do potholes, you can do pathways, you can do shrubbery overgrown, anything could be reported. And in many ways it's far better reported by the individual it affects, because they can describe it more exactly than passing it on as Chinese whispers.
And can have a lot more accountability. Reporting online gives a reference number that can be used to directly contact the council responsible, and it's been reported this date, this is the reference number, what's been done since then.
Yeah, we try to promote that on the Drug Response Squad Facebook page as well, but we'll, looking at that, we'll try and promote it a bit more. Yeah.
So Richard, by the NFU, you mean the National Farmers Union, is
Correct.
that?
Yeah. But that's brilliant, and of course we're here to support the many residents that don't have online facilities, but if those that do can operate it, they'll find a benefit in using it. Thank you, Councillor Duffy. 14, Holocaust Memorial. I'll pass to the town clerk to update.
Thank you, Chairman. This was just to recap really from September. Councillor Duffy, Councillor Humphries met with myself, and we just talked through really what options were viable and appropriate for the town. The main issue was limited time frame, still everything was a standalone. With world events in 7th of October as well, it is quite a sensitive issue. I have summarised on the agenda that it was a statement of support really from the town council when we met in September for the Worcester event. When I looked the other day, that is pending full announcement at the moment. So I don't know if that there's a wider consideration due to world events on that. But it's an outline there really just to gauge local support for it and consideration for a future year for a standalone event in Droitwich Spa.
That's good. Well worked through. Thank you. Any questions there? Councillor Humphries.
Just a comment really rather than a question. I think, I'm speaking for Duffy here as well, but I think the consensus was that we want to make our first Holocaust Memorial Day appropriate for the event that we are marking, and we didn't feel able to do that without the kind of community engagement, etc., and certainly engagement from the schools. So rather than have something that wasn't appropriate and fitting, we made that decision to support Worcester and then see where we're going in future years. But it isn't going away. It is something we are looking into. It's just making sure that it's appropriate.
I think that's very right. So thank you, Councillor Davidson.
Just a question: how do we support Worcester? Basically.
So
It was briefly outlined on the agenda. It was to speak to the high school because the Holocaust isn't actually on the curriculum at the moment, or that may change going forward, and look at whether funded or supplementary funded support for a trip to the Worcester event would be welcomed through the school's community and the wider community.
I am aware that the high school has been to Worcester Holocaust events in the past, so they may still have something already arranged that we could support. Councillor Duffy.
So that is really the key to supporting our community in this kind of way is finding out how best we can support actual residents to feel connected to this, and it was felt that we could best support our residents by making the touching events in Worcester more accessible, and finding ways to support our residents to share what can be a difficult time for some, with people sort of sharing that same time in Worcester.
Yeah.
So
that's one. I think Councillor Humphries is totally right. You don't want to rush something and make it inappropriate. It's better to get it right, even if it takes a bit longer and so forth. So
Absolutely,
yeah.
I think taking a step back, supporting Worcester, and then having an event in future years that is both appropriate and fitting, I think is much more important than having something in January of next year. And I would want to get this right.
Yeah.
And the advantage is this kind of smaller scale step into it gives us the opportunity to meet more of the community that we hope to support with the Holocaust Memorial.
It's a considered and appropriate response. So yeah, very good. Thank you. 15, Droitwich Spa Underpass Art Trail. If we've got one available. I've got one in the car, which is the actual trail, but it is worth getting the booklet to show the underpass artwork trail. It is a phenomenal piece of work. I don't know if any of you had the opportunity to go and see them already, but it works really good as a trail, going around and looking at the artwork that's been achieved. So, do we have any stock here at all?
We do.
So please, online as well, residents come and get the booklet from the Heritage Centre and join in the artwork trail. I don't know if anyone wants to have any comment on them at all. Or...
As well as being a well-prepared trail, it is quite an enjoyable green walk around the entire trail. It's a nice area where much the same as the rest of Droitwich. It benefits from a lot of nature and a lot of greenery along the way, as well as the booklets themselves having a nice activity at the back of them for younger residents to design their own trail.
Looks better than our house, mate, I'll tell you.
And I know some people from outside of Droitwich have come and looked around the artwork as well. So it is introducing people to Droitwich. I believe a Women's Institute has actually done the walk around all the trail from another town. So all the community groups as well do urge them to do the walk. It would be good. 16, Friday weekly charter market coming up for review.
Yes, Chairman, this one really was a request for a delegation of 2 or 3 councillors to meet with me and the operator just to review. We would like to do that really in December, because if there is to be a supplementary income agreement, so at the moment it is free of charge for the year because of the setup of a new venture, it needs to be around this time so we can factor it into preset estimates and budget setting for 2025.
Very good. Do we have any councillors who would be interested in supporting the review? We have 3. Can we go with 3?
Yeah. 4.
Oh, I missed the 4th. 2. Discreet.
Could I ask Mark a question? I do speak to a lot of the market traders because I'm a bit of a wheeler dealer myself. And is it going to be operating on the Saturday before Christmas?
The offer was made, but he doesn't want to do it. He does trade in Evesham on a Saturday, I think it was split to.
Oh, sorry, it was the Friday before Christmas.
Yeah,
sorry.
the Friday you will, but
Yeah.
we did extend that invitation to the Christmas lights.
Yeah.
It is still open if you want to have some input, but it's a farmer's market with other stalls for that.
I think it's the Friday that they were
Yeah,
concerned.
the Friday's fine, no problem. That'll be as normal.
I've got a feeling on the Saturday, each were having quite a larger market activity than their usual one. So I think that's why they're, as part of their sort of lights turn on, I think they're really trying to lean into their market town heritage.
They're calling it Christmas Fair, aren't they? It's Georgian Fair, I think.
I didn't mean.
But it won't be like Droitwich.
No.
I didn't mean the Friday immediately before.
The day before is fine, yeah.
Okay, lovely.
I'll tell them that.
And do encourage people to come down to the charter market and the farmers market. They're things that we have available in Droitwich that we just need to get people more involved with, really. Yeah, they would be a loss if we didn't have them. So yeah, we need to maintain them and keep them going. Do we need to take a vote on that? Do you want
Please,
to
yeah,
vote?
if we could just vote for that delegation of the 4 members, and then I'll arrange the meeting, hopefully early December.
Brilliant. So do we have a proposal for that delegation? I'm happy to propose from the chair, actually. So prepare, Councillor Duffy, second. All in favour?
Thank you.
Thank you. Finally, hurrah, 17, Wychavon Parish Games. I don't think we've progressed, have we?
I'm not aware. The reason I've included it on the agenda was it was an action, I think, in September, but I'm conscious that if members would like the town to participate, time is of essence, really, for the 2024 edition.
Thank you. Any thoughts on Wychavon Parish Games?
I don't believe, unless either of you don't about me, that we've had a chance to go down and investigate our original idea of trying to engage our community public Droitwich workies.
I still think the Wakeman Men's Club is the best option to go with.
I think quite rightly so.
Should we do a pincer attack on Martin?
Pardon?
We'll do a pincer attack on Martin.
Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah.
I think if there isn't a particular eagerness to do it this year, we could always try and put together a delegation and try and invite them as our guests to see the parish games and see if that would inspire them to have a go next year.
I think out of anywhere, it's kind of the Wakeman Men's Club, the Hot Pole, that kind of Fry Street area, really.
Mm-hmm.
You've also got the other wards.
Different wards can put forward. It doesn't have to be one group.
Being able to let them know about it really is the problem. Really, is somebody's got to go around convincing these places. Yeah.
Can we email? Say no. Can we email to members a list of the sports that they have in the parish games?
Yeah.
And how many they have, because there's a limited number to join that they have to participate in.
The detail.
Yeah. So I think there's about 10 or 12 sports or activities, but you only have to do 6 to be part of the parish games or something. So if we have that kind of criteria in the sports, that will enable us to go around, I think.
I'd fancy the egg and spoon race.
That basically is fine.
That's really good. And it is about different wards. It's not Droitwich putting a team in. It can be Droitwich Central, it can be Droitwich South East, it can be Droitwich East. The town wards are what they look at in terms of the representation. So if you do have a friendly community group or pub, then, and they could do sort of 6, if it is 6 of those sports, then they could group in. Yeah, and represent.
Have we had information packs on this from Wychavon?
Well, it's from the organiser. It's not a Wychavon activity, but it's run separate to Wychavon.
I'm wondering whether we could print out a pack
That's
here
what,
and take one down.
that's what Mark will do. Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay, any any comments on that at all? Questions? Otherwise, meeting closed. Thank you. Thank you, members.